Wednesday live stream. I'm Carrie Cole, celebrity vocal coach, artist development expert, and new music business mentor. And for those of you that are new to me, I have been privileged to work with some of the biggest names in entertainment, including Grammy Award winners, rock legends, finalists on the hit TV series American Idol and The Voice. And I come to you live every Wednesday with a live stream, and we discuss music, voice, mindset, marketing, all of the pieces for musicians to thrive and survive. As you come on today, post a comment where you're tuning in from. I love to see where everyone is tuning in from. Today, I'm talking about the topic of 5 musician branding tips to attract and connect with your audience, and really in a way that is compelling and magnetic, right? So, a quick announcement before we dive in, go and watch my free webinar, Building a Strong Foundation for the Singing Voice is the core of your artistry. Don't be fooled. It really is the star of the track, the most important piece. And so there's many types of training, and not all create the strong foundation based in correct vocal pedagogy. So head on over to YouTube and watch my How to Build a World-Class Voice. It's a step-by-step method to building a strong and healthy voice over in at YouTube. So 5 musician branding tips to attract and connect with your audience. So the 5 tips, Minneapolis in the house. You know, that's my hometown. Very cool. San Antonio. Let me know where you're tuning in from, guys. So it's one thing to post on social media, right? And post your music and try to build a following there. But it's another thing to entirely to really actually build an audience that is following you and fastened to you. As always, every Wednesday, I put out a blog, which is the subject of the live stream. So you can head on over to carriecole.com/blog to get the contents of today's live stream all laid out for you, so you can just listen and absorb and not have to take notes. The 5 tips that we're really talking about today is 1, and I just talked about this at my monthly mastermind, my membership, my Artist Sanctuary membership. So if that's something that you guys are really looking for help with your music and your career and your marketing and your branding and all of those incredible pieces, go and check out the Artist Sanctuary membership for under $50. You can join us. We have a mastermind every month, and we have coaching calls, and we have special guest experts, and we have sounding boards to listen to your music. So for $50 a month, it's just unbeatable what you get there. And in this last mastermind in August 1st, we had our mastermind. I did a whole mastermind on artist archetypes and story branding. And this is really where we're finding the ability to really identify yourself, carve that unique selling proposition, they call it in marketing, or your differentiator, to really be able to identify, for that audience to easily identify, and for you to be able to communicate. Because today, it's not just enough to have great music. We need to be able to communicate what that music is about and what we're about, so the audience can easily identify if they're interested in that, right? So interested in you, right? So the 5 tips I'm going to go through today, and we'll see how far we can get, is 1, identifying your artist archetype. So we went in depth in that with a full slide deck in our August mastermind for Artist Sanctuary membership. So if you really want to learn this, go pay that $50, get that mastermind, and then you also get all the past replays since we started in April of 2023, actually. And we talk about building the fan funnel. It's an incredible mastermind. So the first is identifying your artist archetype. The second is how to speak to your audience in a way that actually takes them somewhere, because as we've learned from Story Branding, which is a great book by Donald Miller, everyone wants to be taken somewhere. So your audience wants you to transport them somewhere. Are they looking for a break from the everyday doldrum? Are they wanting to go have a fun night with friends? Are they wanting to escape? Are they wanting to be comforted? What is that thing? And it really helps us. We're going to talk about how to speak to your audience in a way that actually invites them along on the journey. So number 3 is how to speak to your audience through story, the importance of story, Number 4, how to bond with your followers and fans. And 5, the power of an artist's mission statement to really develop the brand voice. Okay. So the goal for independent musicians is not only to make music that resonates, but to carve a message that really speaks to your audience, right? And the way you talk about your music will either draw people in or it will steer people away, right? So we want to learn how to talk about it in a way that conveys your message and your heart and your mission and what you're really all about, to really be able to bring people along on a journey. So the first step is identifying a your artist archetype, and I'm actually working on an archetype quiz. Hopefully that will be ready in the fall. But it's really based on the 12 brand archetypes, which Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung created. And he said we all have a collective unconscious that channels experiences and emotions, resulting in typical patterns of behavior. And he created the 12 Jungian archetypes. Does anybody know, familiar with those archetypes? Hey, Tim in the UK, good to see you, my friend. All major brands actually live by these 12 brand archetypes. So does anybody, is anyone familiar with them? Has anyone done the 12 brand archetype test? When you do the test, you discover you have one dominant type and you have two subtypes. And all three archetypes give you the keys to the underlying themes in your brand, will better inform the words you use to communicate, will better position you for your ideal fan, make you a better copywriter, actually, which we really need, and will guide you to make the right, even to making the right merch and the right products for your audience, the right merchandise. So to find out more about the brand archetypes, get access to my entire presentation, the Artist Story Branding and Archetype Alignment for Musicians, laid out in full 80 slide deck recorded on video, and use the coupon ASM member special when you go and check out my Artist Sanctuary membership. And I'll put the link in the chat here. I'm over on YouTube. So if you guys don't know, YouTube is, we record these live streams there live. We always repost on pretty much on Instagram as well. And I'm going to give you this coupon, but it's easier for me to post this kind of information over here on YouTube. So if you're looking for that coupon and the link to the Artist Sanctuary membership and access to that mastermind, go check that out over on YouTube. So the archetypes are really important. So you have a dominant archetype and two sub archetypes. So for instance, my dominant archetype is the alchemist or magician. And then the sub archetypes are maverick. And the third one is explorer. And so what that does is it informs what my message is for people, what people are really going to be interested in. And then we combine that with story branding, which we talk about in the mastermind, for how to really speak to the audience. Because the first thing that you need to understand, and this goes into number 2, how to speak to your audience in a way that takes them somewhere. The audience is the hero. Your fans, your audience is the hero. You're not the hero in the story. You're the guide in the story. They are the hero in the story. And when you identify that, you can speak to them more in a way that invites them into a journey and connects with them where they are. I think many musicians hope that the music speaks for itself. And I know I felt that way myself until I really started to understand marketing. And yes, music has the power to totally sweep people off their feet. But the time is really past that music sells itself, right? And with 100,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify every day, they say, which is just, I can't even. We really need to understand our niche and who we are. And in building a story brand, Donald Miller talks about the number one mistake that most marketers make, so musicians listen up, that really keeps them from connecting. And the first thing is talking at the audience, really. It's, go listen to my music, right? Instead of painting a story about why they should go listen to their music. So in story branding, Donald Miller talks about that People are scanning the internet. They're in their lives. We are in our lives looking for solutions to survive and thrive. So we all great stories, whether they're physical, emotional, relational, or spiritual, are really about how can we live better, how can we love better, how can we have more money, how can we protect ourselves. So first it's survival, and then it's thrival, right? So a story about anything else won't really work to captivate an audience. Nobody's really interested. So it means if we position our offerings as anything but an aid in helping people survive and thrive, be accepted, find love, achieve an aspirational goal, or bond with a tribe that will defend them when the shit hits the fan, Donald Miller says, good luck selling anything to anybody. And so in the branding that I do with artists, and we do a lot of this work again inside the Artist Sanctuary membership, where we have a community of about 50 artists who are all over the world, and we discuss everything to do with being an artist, but we discuss a lot the marketing piece and the branding piece and how to really find your niche and your specialness that you're bringing, and how to actually frame that with visuals and copy and content in a way that people want to opt into your fan funnel and ultimately support your music and support your record. And we have artists that their fan base is paying for their next record. So this piece is really important to get right. And one of the most important things to understand in marketing is that people want to be taken somewhere. So without knowing it, every potential fan is asking us where we can take them. So think of the hero's journey that your fans are on. Where are they? Where do they long to go? What's in their way? When they meet you, you show them a whole new world. So the fan is the hero on the hero's journey, a character that's looking to improve their lives and have a better quality of life, including all the music that they listen to and absorb and are a part of, and the communities that they're a part of. And then you are the guide, and the guide presents a better solution, a better whatever to that person's quandary. And so where's your music taking folks? Make a list. Are you taking them to feel better about themselves, to hope, to freedom from their problems, to step into a world outside of the mundane day to day, to a fun weekend with friends, to more joy, to more contemplation, to more meaning, to healing, to breaking free from something restricting them, from communicating what's inside them, right? So make a list, identify, get clear, and try to get clear on what it is instead of a whole bunch of different things. What's the main thing that your music is really about, right? Is it about joy, or is it about reflection, or is it about healing? Number 3, how to speak to your audience through story. And like always, this topic of the week is the blog of the week that I write that comes out every Wednesday. So be sure to join the list so you can get that blog in your inbox. And then you don't have to take notes. You can go over to the blog and you'll see all of this all written out for you. Okay. Number 3 is how to speak to your audience through story. So another mistake is to try to convince the listener to listen to your music rather than spinning a story that draws them in, right? Story is the playbook for copywriting. So how do you increase your potential fans' interest in your music and brand, right? And you borrow from the storyteller's playbook. You start talking about a problem that your fans face. For example, one of the artists that I work with, Megan Sky, we've identified her journey of self-love, and that's really what her music is about. That's what her album is about. And that's what her brand is about. And so she's here to take people on a journey of self-love. So we're developing in her fan funnel that aspect. We're just designing some lives where she's going to talk about self-love, like in a filling your cup with self-love today. Come and join me. We're going to do a little visualization, and then I'm going to play a little excerpt from the album. And then we're going to end with this, something like that. and this is a way that draws them into something that's interesting to them and something that is going to improve their lives, right? And what's the story that we're telling them? And it really is through, I think her tagline is something like through self-love, with everyday ease and joy, I find transformation, or something. I'm butchering it, but something like that. And that really came from the archetypes, from the artist archetypes that we discussed in our August mastermind, combining that with story brand and how to really take people on a journey, and what is the story that you're telling them. So you can start by writing out your own story in an exercise to discover what are the aspects of you that are really important to you, and what has your hero's journey been? Everyone's on a hero's journey, right? So write down your hero's journey and identify what are the things that you have overcome, what are you overcoming currently, and where are you in your journey, and look for the themes, right? And then write about it from the perspective of the guide. Remember, your listener is the hero and you are the guide, taking them somewhere to a better tomorrow. And people will start to listen, because people are not interested really in your new song, even though they should be, right? They don't know that they really need that song, but we have to weave a compelling story to draw them in, so they click play and they follow us and they join our list, right? Number 4, how to bond with your followers and fans, and all of that above that we've talked about is a big piece of it. But one of the most powerful marketing campaigns in history was Apple computers, right? When they exploded and really became a household name. And Apple was collapsing at the time until Steve Jobs really understood that people felt intimidated. He was able to identify the customer on where they were on the hero's journey, and what the villain was and what was in their way. And people felt intimidated, which is an internal problem, and people buy from an internal problem, right? He realized that people were intimidated by technology. So, in one of the most powerful campaigns in history, Apple showed a simple, hip, fun character who just wanted to take photos, listen to music, and write books, and taught and listen to a not so hip tech nerd talk about the inner workings of his operating system. And the campaign positioned Apple Computers as the company to go to if you wanted to enjoy life and express yourself, but felt intimidated by all the tech talk. And it was one of the most powerful marketing campaigns in history. So that's an example. Here's another quick example of when it doesn't work. And then we'll talk about that, a little exercise that you can do. Number 4 and number 5 have 2 really nice exercises. So go over to the blog so you can do these exercises to identify these pieces. But another quick story in how a big campaign failed to identify the customer where they were on their journey is Tidal Music. So when Jay-Z started Tidal Music, and it was going to revolutionize the music business, and he had worked with several famous artists, and they were going to get a percentage, and they were going to, really encourage people to start paying for music again. And the whole idea was a great idea. But what happened was, Jay-Z made the artists, the well-known artists that were a part of the platform to draw people to the platform, he made them the hero instead of the customer the hero. And the whole campaign failed. And I think he had sunk 56 million into it. So this whole idea of finding where your listener is on the journey is really important, and what it is, how you position it, right? The only reason that customers buy from us, or fans or listeners come to our shows and buy our merch, is because of the external problem we solve that is frustrating them. So if we can identify that frustration and put it in words, and these are excerpts from StoryBrand that I detailed in our mastermind from the Artist Sanctuary Mastermind for August, which you can go and get for $50. We laid out the whole thing and the whole process. So how does that relate to you as a musician? So you want to start by answering these questions. So think of, what is the fan's villain? What is your listener or your fan's villain? What is the external need? What is their external need? And I'll give you an example in just a minute. And what is the internal need? And what is the philosophical need? Okay. So, example, Tesla Motors, the villain is gas guzzling. So Tesla Motors solves that with an electric car, right? And the external need of the person buying the car is, I need a car. The internal need, and this is why where people really buy from, is I want to be an early adopter of new technology. I want to be ahead of the curve. And the philosophical aspect of my car of choice should save the environment. So that is more the slam dunk of what makes people buy something, more the internal need and the philosophical need, right? So to grow your followers, you should position your music as the resolution to an external, internal philosophical problem and frame the action that they need to take closure in their story by joining your community, or by listening to your song that's going to comfort them in the dark night, or that's going to provide joy or self-love or positivity, or whatever that is that you're marketing, whatever that is that it is that you bring. And then 5, and I'm going to open for questions in just a moment. 5 would be the power of a mission statement. And there's an exercise over on the blog. So go and do that exercise because I can't get into all of it now. But your artist mission statement is where I always start when we're doing branding and marketing with an artist, because it really sets the tone and the stage for really your artist brand voice. And it's a great way to gain clarity on why you do music. And it really informs everything. And that mission statement is something that it doesn't really change. You know, it is at the core of you and at the core of why you do music. And we need to identify these things. And so doing a little exercise to identify that really helps you to gain clarity, because gaining clarity here will help you solidify your artist brand voice and really help you reset for your next project or reset for your next campaign, or just for posting, getting more clarity on really who you are, who your audience is, right? And, we start with writing out, my mission as an artist is fill in the blank. My music is about fill in the blank. My music helped me to fill in the blank. I hope to help others in this way, fill in the blank. And I want other people to know fill in the blank, like they're not alone or blah, 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 blah kind of thing. And after you've answered the questions, then you formulate it into a well-written paragraph. So the magic I shared with you today is only a small piece of how to really work this. Go to the blog to work it more. And if you really want to work it more, join our ASM mastermind just for $50. And you can get that mastermind we did on August 1st that lays all of this out. Today's topic was covered in full, and you get an 80-page slide deck and recording of the mastermind. And then you get access to all of our past masterminds. And you're really going to want to see July 2023, because I laid out the fan funnel, like how to actually build a fan funnel that converts and gets you to that place where you're making 50, 75, 100, 150, 200,000. This is what we're seeing. This is more possible today than becoming famous. And who really cares about that anymore? I mean, some people still do. And for some people, that is written in their destiny. But most people today, most artists today, really just want to build their own brand and have an actual successful music brand and business. So let's open it up for questions. And we have a few minutes left. Hey, I joined late. Is the mastermind a video course? The mastermind, hi Zane. The mastermind, oh yes, I recognize your name. The mastermind is a monthly membership. So you pay monthly and you get access to a monthly mastermind. So we do an hour and a half full mastermind, full slide deck, a topic you can see the curriculum on the sales page. And it's a full curriculum. And then you have a coaching call. So we do the mastermind, we give you an assignment, then we work through it in the coaching call. And then we have an additional event every month. So it's either a special guest speaker. Last month, we had a Spotify, certified Spotify playlister. We interviewed him, and then you can ask live questions at the event. Or we have a sounding board where we listen to music and give, really critical feedback that's going to help you in a positive manner. Improve the quality and just really get feedback and kind of where you're at. And so I started that in April of 2023. We haven't done much marketing for it, but we have about 50 people in it. It varies from 50 to 75 right now. I think we have about 50 people from all over the world. We have an artist from Austria. We have an artist from Hungary. We have an artist from the UK, from England, someone from Dubai, and then we have a bunch of artists in the United States, and then some people in Canada, and some people Australia. It's a tough time that we meet, because we usually meet at 12 p.m. Eastern. But you can get all the recordings, and I'm telling you, it is chock full of incredible business and marketing and branding. Okay, let's go for another question here. Last night at a jam, a new guy with a great voice and guitar got up and sang 3 original songs. The band did well to work with him. He died a death. He said nothing and stood at the extreme. What is your question, Johnny? I'm not sure what the question is there. I think you're probably still typing. Okay. Anybody else have any questions about anything I'm talking about today, about branding, about voice, anything that you're dying to ask me? I'm going to head out pretty soon, but I'd love to answer any question that you guys have. Sorry, the whole message not come through. Okay. You can try again if you want, but tell me what your question is. Yeah, it's okay. Something about, I'm not sure. So he's a great singer, and he didn't do well at the performance for whatever reason, is something like that. And what do you do in that situation? I don't know if that's what the question is, but if it is the question, it happens, right? And the best is just to do your best and move on and know that you're good. And sometimes in live performance, these things happen. Where can I go to learn vocal lessons? Yes, come to me. Yes, carriecole.com. So you can get our Cole Vocal Method. We have a page, carriecole.com/Cole Vocal Method. We teach the entire method inside the Vocal Freedom Circle. If you just, and that's, I think it's $7.97. It's an 8-week program, but you can get a coupon for $5.97 if you write into us. And we are doing a promotion next week. Actually, wait till next week, because next week from the 14th to the 20th, we're doing a huge August sale. So our August sale will be up to 50% off of everything in the store, including private sessions. So those of you who've been wanting to have a private session with me, either a vocal analysis, a music review, something about career, or like career direction, just to map out your career, or if you want help with your voice in technique or vocal arranging, you'll be able to do that for 50% off. And then you can also buy the Vocal Freedom Circle at quite a discount. So that's what I'd recommend if you really want, the cheapest, least expensive way to get my method. And this is a method that builds a world-class voice. It is a superior method in the marketplace. It's a complete method, is through the Vocal Freedom Circle. And then once you've done that, come and have a private session with me. If you're the type that really likes private sessions, you can do that. But what it would take me to teach you what's in the Vocal Freedom Circle is about $6,000 of private sessions. But you can get that for under $500. So August discount on the mastermind. Yes, there will be a discount on the mastermind. So that opens next Wednesday in our e-zine. You'll see a link to the shop. But if you just next Wednesday go to our shop page, you'll see all of the discounts. You can just go right there. Jillian Linklater, good to see you. Well, thanks for joining me today, guys. As always, the Wednesday live stream is recorded on live on YouTube. So you can go over there for anything that you missed, and head over to the blog if you want the notes from today's live stream. And anyone who wants to come and work with us and learn the method, you can write into info@carriecole. We can set up an artist discovery call and advise you on what the best path would be. If you just want a quick warm-up series, get my Singer's Gift. If you want to learn the whole method, get my Vocal Freedom Circle. In 8 weeks, you will transform your voice. If you want to learn more about it, go watch my webinar, How to Build a World-Class Voice, on YouTube. If you want to go through an experiential workshop for free, the webinar is free, the workshop is free, and that'll really walk you through the Better Voice Challenge workshop. You can opt into that and watch those replays. That was an incredibly powerful experience of the method. And then you'll have an opportunity there to go join the method. Well, good to see you guys. Thanks for joining me today. As always, I will see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Have a wildly creative week. Stay curious and stay committed, because commitment is the natural magnet of opportunity. I will see you soon. Mwah. Much love. Bye.